our 50-50 grab tonight. Head on down to the Snack Shack. After Steve and Dale, they got your tickets for you. Remember, everything goes to charity tonight, except for what you take home. Don't forget to grab yourself a pork up right now. Thank you.
You know, what's interesting is the knowledge from racing translates really well into life. When you're going downhill, super high speed, it's what's the line, where do I slow, where I'm looking with my eyes, it's all the same stuff. It's kind of fun. I'm better at center than most of my friends. Something I want to go back and talk about, Steve, is the beginnings. You were around from back in the days of Iris and the creation of iRacing, the creation of the concept of the product and growth from then until now.
Yeah, it's a great problem. It depends on how deep you want to go, and it's crazy to think that it really starts.
So you know the story about the conversation and football and whatever it is. So the idea that I was thinking was to have that all be famous. So instead of having
Don't forget to take over our 50-50 grab tonight. Head on down to the Snack Shack. After Steve and Dale, they got your
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. And it is playoff time for the Area 51 Super Speedway Xfinity Series here tonight at Daytona International Speedway. Playoff race number 1 of the 4. And I believe this will be the only Daytona race we have in the playoffs. The next 3 will be at Talladega Super Speedway. So I think the name of the game tonight is going to be just try to get that best initial finish in the playoffs, kind of collect those bonus points wherever you can. And then I think it's going to kick off at Talladega. So it'll be fun to see. So hope you all are having a wonderful evening. Hope you're looking forward to tonight's event. So as always, 78 laps is our scheduled race distance. Alright, so with all of that part squared away here, let's go and show our top 8 drivers in the points going for that championship this evening. So pull up our scoring over here. As you see, everybody's reset to 0 here, so it's going to be obviously pretty much an 8-way tie. You're going to have Gabe Butler on as one of those. He is the regular season champion in that number 1 machine. And with him, he's going to have J.D. Crowe, Robert DuPont, Vicente Guerrero, and then Randy Minor, Cody Nagels, Dean Wilkinson, and Zachary Workman will be the 8 competitors this evening. And again, big shout out to Kevin Freeze. Knew he was going to miss a couple of playoff races, gave up his position. So again, got to give a big thank you to Kevin for just the camaraderie that we see in this league with these drivers. And they say, yeah, hey, I could knock somebody out to make it easier for me, one of my teammates, or I could just make it a level playing field and let someone who can make all 4 races. So again, hats off to Kevin for doing that, because drop weeks are over. At this point, it is all 4. So unfortunately, if one of our top 8 can't make a race, that will probably drop them out of the running unless they have a huge remaining 3 races. So it's going to be fun to see who has what in it for tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun to see here. We'll be looking forward to getting that going here in just a moment. So again, hope you're all having a wonderful evening, a wonderful weekend. And actually, Kevin, that's actually a great point that you bring up right there. Is rooting for Limitless this evening is exactly that though. Is the teams in this thing. So looking at that list, actually, we'll pull that list back up so we can take one more look at it here. But you see Zach Workman there, you see Cody Nagels, you see Vicente Guerrero. That is Team Limitless, those 3 drivers working together. I see then Dean Wilkinson, Randy Minor. Expect to see those drivers working together with that kind of that combo duo of TW Motorsports, as well as so I keep forgetting the name of it. For some reason, I apologize for that. As well as Bad Company working together as well. And then, of course, then you got some of the boot knockers there, Gabe Butler, J.D. Crowe, working together, I'm sure, this evening as well. So that leaves the question mark of Robert DuPont. Maybe does he have some sort of alliance? Can he work with somebody this evening? Maybe find a team to tag onto. That's always a big opportunity for him. I'm kind of poking around to see if I can see if I see that 07 of Robert DuPont with anybody so far this evening. And I don't see him with any other teams right now. So at the moment, looks like he may be on his own. However, and then we got to go to, again, it's not just those 8 drivers. There's going to be about, another 14, 15 plus drivers on the grid here tonight. They just want to get a race win. They want to get these wins and have some fun. I mean, Kevin Freeze is here tonight, so he's going to be going for the win tonight in that 25 machine. Gary Jenkins has had a pretty solid year. Didn't make the playoffs, but he's going to want to try to get that win tonight as well. They got some of those other drivers like Tom Dixon in that group as well. There's some big names that haven't got the win that they're looking for yet, but don't count them out by any means. So right now, qualifying just has about completed. Looks like the checkered flag is going to fly on that 5-minute qualifying session. Looks like we had about 16 roughly drivers put down a qualifying lap to get the grid going here tonight. So let's go ahead and pull up that starting grid for tonight's event. And we were going to kick things off again. We talked about the generosity for some of these drivers, and that's exactly what we're going to be seeing here tonight. It's going to be Kevin Freeze on pole position here tonight in that number 25 Kellogg's machine. Next to him by 200ths of a second, Gabe Butler. And then you got Gary Jenkins, Dean Wilkinson, Cody Nagels, our top 5. Continuing down the order, you got Tom Dixon, J.D. Crow, Zach Workman, Robert Rock, and Bud Steele are top 10. And then Vicente Guerrero, Eric Laurie, they're 11th and 12th. Continuing on down, you got David Bone, Jay Hilliard, Nick Manfredi, Robert DuPont, they're 16th. Robert Jordan, Paul Turner, Bob Fitzgerald, Dan Harrington are top 20. And then Randy Miner and David Overstreet in 21st and 22nd, respectively. And you'll also notice on the ticker up top, you'll see the qualifying order up there as well. And if you see the highlight in green, those are the playoff drivers there. So you see right there Robert DuPont showing that 07 machine in 16th position where he qualified. The green signifies a playoff driver, so keep an eye for that. Hopefully it'll be easy viewing for you all. You see right there the 21st 101 and Randy Miner also one of the playoff drivers, but towards the back, some will have a little dash P next to the name, some won't. I say it's kind of hit or miss. Sometimes it doesn't work perfectly, but just a couple options to work with there. So you see right now our highest qualifier in the playoffs is Gabe Butler, but importantly for the rest of the field, no bonus point for the playoff driver for pole position, as Kevin Freese was able to nip that from Gabe Butler. And we talked about also that 90 of Gary Jenkins, so non-playoff drivers there qualifying first and third. So again, we'll have to see. This is a difficult track to make that third lane happen, so no promises on that one. We might see these guys stay kind of double file for a good chunk here tonight. Most likely two-stop strategy here tonight on field should be right on the edge, about 26, maybe 27, 28 if you can save. So we'll see what that's going to be as you see the pace car starting to roll off here to get our race underway. Get that warm-up lap done, and then it'll be Kevin Freese and Gabe Butler leading the field to green.
This will be pretty interesting. I would love to see what everybody's strategy is going to be. Usually Gabe's is usually fall to the back. It's been working for him all season long. Some of these other guys who don't have a win in this series, I probably will expect them to be probably more aggressive here.
Yeah, and that's exactly it, Matt. It's the risk versus reward. Do you want to be up front and try to control this thing? Do you want to try to drop back and just take it easy, avoid trouble? So yeah, it's gonna be fun to see. And like I said, with Gabe Butler, again, he's the highest of our playoff drivers. Does he try to lead a lap and then drop to the back, or does he just opt to stay towards the front here with Kevin Freese and the 90 of Gary Jenkins? So it's going to be very intriguing to see kind of who's going to make what calls. And the other thing, of course, is Daytona Talladega. Daytona a little narrow, again, just about 8 feet, so nothing crazy, but those 8 feet make a huge difference in that third lane. And the other thing to mention, the apron here again, Matt, so much flatter, so much kind of just sketchier. If you're going to drop to the apron and let the field on by, you've got to be careful not to miss, basically either overshoot the apron and drift up in the track onto the field, or at the same time not lose the draft letting it happen. So it's going to be interesting. They're going to have to be careful to see what that's going to be. However, we got to jump over to take a look at our flag maps. Again, initial start on the green. You see they're approaching the Geico restart zone, Matt. And here we go. Green flag is out, and we are underway. Playoff race number 1 of 4 as Kevin Freese, Gabe Butler lead the field to kick this playoff off. You see, Gabe had a great start, but man, Dean Wilkinson just maybe didn't get through the gears as well as he was hoping for. And going to fall back a little bit is that number 1 now. Picks 55 back up here, so we'll see the run out of turn number 2. Right now, Gabe's still got just a nose ahead here. Will we see him maybe clear that 25 and jump to the bottom? That's exactly what we see. Gabe Butler going to try to lead lap number 1 and saying if you're going to have someone behind you, again, Kevin Freese is always one to watch here as they head through 3 and 4, building up the speed. And also, again, you see the ticker on the left side there. You see the highlighted green. Those are the playoff drivers. So right now we've got a bunch of them in the top 10. Just a couple outside of it as we run currently. But I'm also going to give a big thanks and shout to Peter DeBorgia for helping me get the graphics and everything. Just little improvements here and there. And he does great stuff and is able to help me out as well. So really appreciate you, Peter. Hope you're having a good evening. If you're watching, definitely a big shout out to you, man. Got to mention, though, Matt, Gabe Butler leads lap number 1.
Yeah, more point. Well, he just goes right to the top. No,
yeah, I think
going to the third lane.
No, yeah, he's going to the third lane. He's going to drop to the back. But again, we talked about the risk of the apron. Gabe said, "You know what? I feel safer going to the wall than to the apron." So he is going to drop to the back. He's going to play it safe. Got the bonus point he wanted. Now he's going to go back and ride and probably save fuel in that number 1 machine. So that's the strategy he's sticking with here. You see everybody's going to work their way around there. Bud Steele's going to go middle here. And you see Kevin Freeze. I think Kevin may be looking and doing the same thing.
Yep. Do the same thing, yeah.
So these guys are thinking fuel, I think, Matt, here. Again, Kevin, he's got nothing to lose. He can go for points and doesn't worry about points. He can go for wins and everything there. So interesting to see Kevin doing the same. So to me, this might be more of a fuel mileage strategy than a points and a kind of just attrition strategy. So what that does, though, is it now gives Dean Wilkinson a chance to get a bonus point in that 55 machine in that bad company Ford Mustang. So and there goes Gary Jenkins right to the top as well. So kind of like clockwork.
This thing.
I say right now, nobody wants to lead this race, but it's going to be between Dean Wilkinson and Cody Nagels who's going to lead this lap at the line. I believe it was Cody, but it was thousandths of a second between the two of them.
Got it.
So there you go, bonus point for the 06 of Cody Nagels getting a lap led there. Dean Wilkinson's going to want to get one, obviously, Matt, at some point here, and also the 5 of JD Crow as well. I don't think we'll see JD drop back until he gets that bonus point in that 5 machine.
Yeah, it kind of looks more like a team strategy here, knowing that the 25 is not in the playoffs here. Maybe the 5 is thinking the same thing. You don't want to get caught up in any wrecks. You don't really don't want to put yourself in harm's way this early in the race. Well, like I told you earlier, I like to see some of these guys who haven't visited victory lane this season make their way up toward the front.
Yeah, and I mean, there's always a good chance that because, as we need to mention, though, Dean does lead a lap as well. So we talk about playoff drivers leading laps, so we can confirm that Cody Nagels, Dean Wilkinson, Gabe Butler, they have all led a lap, so that's going to bonus point for them. And there's exactly what we just talked about, the 55 dropping low here. Now, here's the apron part we talked about, Matt. Now he's got to find an opening here. If he can maybe pop up right here in front of Bud Steele, and he's able to just before the banking transition started to grow. That is the risk of dropping to the apron versus going to that third lane, but it wound up working for Dean there, and he's indeed going to continue to drop back. So right now these guys all kind of hesitant about leading, as that's going to put Tom Dixon to the point now in that 411. So to me, this means I think there's more of a fuel mileage situation going on here, I think, than a lead lap situation here, because it just seems like these guys don't really want to be up front and push that hard this early. So I'm thinking these guys are trying to be absolutely sure that they can make this thing on 2 stops in case we go caution free tonight.
Yeah. Big shout out to that 411 of Tom Dixon. I usually see him up front like all the time. No victories to his name. Maybe tonight is the night for the 411 to go to victory lane. We shall see.
Yeah, like I said, we definitely do love first-time winners, so say Tom Dixon would be a good option. David Bone is... contact! Oh, trouble behind them, though. Oh, Cody Nagels involved. Big hit for him. And, it's all collecting down in the back, unfortunately. You can see everybody scattering, unfortunately. And we've got a number of drivers here with some pretty significant damage there. Towards the very back, I see Bob Fitzgerald there, Robert Jordan, Bud Steele, really heavy damage to him. And that was a big hit up front. I think that may have been a push gone wrong. We'll go back and look, obviously. But this will, again, we talked about, unfortunately, the implications for some drivers. The one that stands out to me is Cody Nagels. Significant damage. He's going to have to burn a fast repair here. You can see just how much damage he has in that 06 machine. That car not tracking straight by any means, but he is going to fight this thing to make it to pit road without taking a tow. So, unfortunately, he's involved. That will take away his bonus points for an incident-free race. But let's go back here and see what exactly happened, Matt, because it just, to me, like I said, it looked like a kind of a push gone wrong at the front of the field here. So let's take one more look.
For me, that looked like just 2 drivers moving upward in the same direction. Like JD would go down and Tom would go up. So it's just a fight over real estate. So that's just pretty much just racing.
Yeah, it's hard to say for certain what happened there. But then unfortunately, in the process of trying to collect the cars, that's unfortunate. Or then David Bone, he gets caught up in the 90. The 06 goes around. You see the 171 of Robert Rock. Looks like he gets a solid piece of it as well. It's like the 59 there of Jay Hilliard just sneaks by, maybe a little tiny bit of damage. You see the 171 there also actually having to go through the pit entry there. Oh man, look at the 06 of Cody Nagels up and over there. So definitely some pretty brutal hits for that 06 machine. So yeah, tough break for a handful of these guys. I'm again trying to spot the playoff drivers there to see who's able to get through cleanly. There was definitely some close calls for a number of them. But yeah, man, Cody is just trying to track that thing. You see the 33, all the damage he has. But let's jump back live here, Matt, because here comes the field onto pit road. This will take out any drama about fuel mileage. They know for certain now they can make it on 2 stops. And it's going to be that 5 of JD Crow leading them onto pit road here.
It looks like Cody's going to make it to pit road because that thing is tracking very bad.
Quick pit stop for Vicente. He will win the race off pit road, which will also give him a bonus point. So mark that one off for Vicente. And then, yeah, so now we'll look to see the longer pit stops for certain drivers and see kind of maybe who's going to opt to get damage repaired manually. Right now, a couple I see that are still sitting on pit road. Dan Harrington, lengthy stop. Paul Turner in the 4, sitting at about 30 seconds on pit road, so pretty lengthy. JD Crow as well, actually, Matt, the 5 car, so he did have some damage out of that. He's sitting at now about 45 seconds on pit road, so that 5 machine had some damage as well, so he opted to get that repaired manually because I think it was all in the rear. And you can see a little bit of a rear crinkle to that number 5. Nothing terrible, but unfortunately still a little bit of damage to him as well. So unfortunately for them. And then like we mentioned, though, the 06 of Cody Nagels car all better, able to get to pit road, get that fast repair taken. So what this does do for Cody is it does unfortunately take one of his 2 fast repairs away. But at this point, too, he knows, well, you know what? I don't have to worry about going incident-free anymore. Those bonus points are gone. Now I can just be, I want to say as aggressive as I need to, but, I mean, now at that point, like, you don't have to worry about the incident points at this point. You know you already lost those bonus points, so you can maybe take a few risks that other drivers may not want to take. So we'll see if that comes into play or not. We do have a handful topping off. It looks like starting with Eric Laurie, and then a couple of the boot knockers going in along with him there. You see the 1 there, the 18, also Zach Workman in along with Dean, Kevin. And yeah, so pretty much half the field here, about a split strategy of who's staying in, who's topping off. So right now it looks like about the top 9 drivers went ahead and stayed out, not topping off on this one to go. And it looks like Kevin Freeze will be about one of the first there to come. Actually, I'm sorry, it looks like Kevin Freeze will be the first out of pit road. So a little mixed bag of strategies for some of these guys topping off on this one to go.
Yeah, it's a smart play. These guys are what, 10 laps in?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 10 laps in here.
Maybe fuel is out the window, kind of. Maybe.
Well, I'd say it's out the window in the sense of it's a guaranteed 2-stop to the end. There's nobody's going to worry about having to make that 3rd stop anymore for like a splash. The question mark could be coming in now where if you save fuel, could you maybe make a short pit stop on one of your final stops now? Again, because now it's kind of that 10-lap difference versus them pitting at, let's say, 26 and 52 to get to 78. Kind of doing that 26-lap math that we've been talking about before, because now it's instead of starting on lap number 1, we're going to start on lap number 11. So now it's basically a 68-lap race, I guess is one way you can put it. And again, we know nobody can go 34 laps on fuel, so that one stopper definitely out of the question here. So we'll see what happens here. Vicente Guerrero, he's going to lead the field back to green. He's got Tom Dixon to his outside, Robert DuPont to his bumper. And we'll see who's able to get these quick bonus points off the bat. We know Vicente's got one already here as we get back to green here, starting lap number 11. And Vicente Guerrero leads the field back underway. That outside line's making a big charge here, Matt. That 59 Jay Hilliard pushing that 411 of Tom Dixon. just nosing ahead into 3 again. Not enough to clear at this point, but you like what you see, though, with that momentum they were able to get. You see the 90 there, once again, of Gary Jenkins right in that mix as well. So they're starting to get that momentum built, but a little separation, though, that's allowed the 14 to sneak back away here as they head to the trial once more. And again, going to be very tight at the line. It was thousands again between Vicente and Tom, but now Tom once again noses ahead here entering 1.
I see a 3 wide.
I was going to say, I also see a 3rd lane forming, and it's with the one of Gabe Butler. And I don't think this time it's going to go to the back here. I'm wondering if, Matt, I'm going to let you do a little bit of research here. If you can check maybe to see if which of these drivers are still incident free, because I'm kind of wondering for Gabe Butler if he's thinking, you know what, if he maybe got involved in an incident too and said, all right, well, at this point, there's no point just riding around the back trying to get those bonus points. Let's go to the front here in that one machine. Oh, a little bit of contact.
A little bit tight right there. Look at Cody Nagel. I think he's right on the apron of the racetrack. He's just to avoid the accident. That's very smart by Cody, just by going on the apron there.
Yeah.
But Gabe Butler just got a 4X.
Yeah. So
from the 50, looks like from the 25. So there goes the bonus point for you.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if those incident points may have came a little earlier, possibly too, and that's why Gabe decided, you know what, let's just go for it here. So
he was good and clean till then.
Oh man, it is tight. We talked about 3 wide not being the easiest thing to do here at Daytona.
It's scary.
They're gonna try to make it work. Oh, we got trouble.
That's not gonna work.
However, they're wrecking into the pits here. No, we're still green, Matt.
Still green?
And that's my concern, is they spun off track into the pits. So you see the 59 Jay Hilliard, you got the 411 on Tom Dixon. At this point, they're kind of just they're kind of off on their own here. And so currently we stay under green. This field again is going to completely be broken apart here as they run. The 07 Robert DuPont also got some damage out of that as well. So unfortunately, with them incident going off track, the race stays under green here. Let's go try to see if we can go back and take one more look at it here as they kind of went off onto pit road there. See if we can get a better look at it. And as you can see, the contact are occurring already. So once again, let's back it up a tiny bit here. See if we can get a better look at it as they come out of 4. You can see the 411 just a little drift, and look at Kevin Freeze. Oh yeah, it gets a little loose. And a little bit of net code, which then turns into actual contact. And then that's where the 411-25, you see the 25 just kiss the wall, come across the nose of the 59. There's Nick Manfredi, nowhere to go as well. Also, the same goes there for Bud Steele. Actually, maybe Bud just got by it. But then I saw the 07 Robert DuPont make some decent contact with that outside wall. And then from there, everybody's able to kind of gather back up and pick speed once more back up. So we'll jump back live here as we still continue under green flag conditions. And so what we have basically, Matt, is we've got pretty much the top 17 all still together, from Vicente back to Bob Fitzgerald, but then unfortunately Nick Manfredi, Tom Dixon, you see Robert Rock there getting passed as well, and then Jay Hilliard, say they were the ones that were the worst off from that incident here. So unfortunately it's kicking off I thought this one might be the calmer one before we get to the craziness of Talladega. But so far proving to be tonight, Daytona is going to be the wild one so far this evening.
Yeah, it's the 3 wide situation. I guess it's risk versus reward. And as you saw right there, it was a little bit of... it hurt most of those guys. And it is what it is. It's plate racing, 3 wide at Daytona. Holding your line here is very tough here. Especially... coming off the triable with so much room up the triable, and you come down into turn 1. It's just very narrow, and it can happen. I've been there myself.
Yeah, so the one that I'm watching, I think, is gonna be in a tough spot right now. Looks to be the 07 Robert DuPont. I think that damage is really hurting his overall speed. He's fallen back to Bob Fitzgerald here, and they continue to lose ground to those guys up front. So unfortunately, Robert kind of at risk right now of losing the main draft, so he's going to probably need a yellow to get him back into the mix from the field here, and also, of course, then burn that fast repair. So, Matt, so I'm going to send you on a little bit of do some homework here to see if any now already of our playoff drivers, how many actually still are incident free? Because I feel like we've got a number of them that have already unfortunately been involved in incidents. So, I mean, you mentioned Gabe getting one recently. We obviously know the 06 of Cody Nagels went up and over, so we know he's got incident points. I feel like probably the 5 of JD Crow as well with that rear end damage he had to get repaired probably as well. So, is there anybody showing that's still clean of our top 8?
Yep, that would be the 18 of Zach Workman. And also, that would be the 55 of Dean Wilkinson.
So right now we know for sure at least 2 drivers currently still clean. How about the 14 of Vicente Guerrero? Is he still doing okay, or is he also has some?
He has damage.
So he's also got incident points as well. So
that is correct.
Yeah, so this is pretty wild here. How about Randy Minor, the 101 there?
Randy Minor, the 101. He has a 4x to his credibility.
Wow, so right now, Matt, so based on what you're telling me, so basically what that says is as things run, the 18 is Zach Workman, the 55 Dean Wilkinson, currently those are the only 2 drivers of our 8 playoff contenders. That means 6 of our 8 have already been involved in an incident here, Matt, and we're only on lap number 19.
Yes.
And that's just how crazy it's been. So to me, if I'm those 2 drivers, which I mean right now Zach Workman definitely not taking it easy, he's trying to push the outside line to the front there with that number 5 of JD Crow, but I almost think take it a little bit easy here, just play it a little safer. I kind of like what Dean Wilkinson's doing. He's got some teammates that he can trust around him. He's got the 101 right there, the 08 behind him, so he's in a nice little pocket for if anything happens. But yeah, this has been definitely a wild and crazy start to this thing, and can't confirm, unfortunately, Robert DuPont has lost the draft, so he's going to continue to drop pretty aggressively here. So he's going to need He's going to need some help to get back into this race. Like I said, he's going to need a caution and then also, of course, use that fast spare to get back into the thick of this thing. So right now we still have a 16-car breakaway up front, 17 on the lead lap, and then it looks like from 18th on back at least 1 or more down, with Robert Rock being the first car one down who's in this main pack as well. And yeah, Chris Matthews jumping in on chat right now, Matt, saying that pit stop's going to be wild here tonight. So which, speaking of, we got probably about another 15 roughly laps, I'd say, until we probably have to hit pit road.
That is correct. We went to green on lap 11?
11, yep.
So, I'm guessing probably about 35, 36. Maybe 37.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the same. And yeah, of course, it depends on who's been saving and backing it down and all that. Which, speaking of backing down, one driver that we were just talking about, that we were talking about maybe wanting to back it down, is the 18 of Zach Workman. And that's exactly what he's done. He's found a safe pocket here now behind that 4 of Paul Turner, right in front of the 101 of Randy Minor, so he's decided to back his pace off a little bit. And I kind of wonder, too, if the pace has dropped a little bit, because I'm looking at the nose of that 14 of Vicente Guerrero, and to me, I feel like I see a little crinkle on the hood. Not sure if that's just maybe something from the Toyota that's standing out, or if there's actually a little bit of damage to that 14, so it doesn't look like it's hurting him too bad, but you always wonder, any nose damage, especially when you're leading, is definitely going to kind of show up.
Yeah, you are exactly right. He's got a little crinkle, and his actually looks like the front nose is caving a little bit.
So I'll have to keep an eye on that. But I'm seeing a couple drivers working the second lane now. That's going to be the 6 and the 06 Bud Steele, Cody Nagels. They're going to try to make their way back to the point. But what's good here for Vicente, though, is even though he's got the damage, he's leading laps. He's knocking laps off here, Matt. So again, if he can continue to kind of control the field like he is, that could turn things into being him able to lead the most laps and get that second bonus point. So again, we talked about, of course, leading 1 lap gets you 1. You get another bonus point if you can lead the most laps. So that's definitely something I think Vicente is going to want to try to do. But you see that 6 machine of Bud Steele working that second lane now, trying to see if he can maybe spoil that party up front.
Yeah, there goes that 6 of Bud Steele in that flannel colored machine. Nice looking paint scheme. Getting a push by Cody Nagels. See, Cody's right back in it. Usually if you would take a big hit and use your fast repair, I usually would probably be scared to run up toward the front, not taking any risk at this stage of the game.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, you never know what's going to be the right call, and right now I feel like it looks a little safer up front than what it was earlier. But again, like I mean, just one little mistake, one push gone wrong, I mean, it could change everything. So right now, though, yeah, I mean, Cody's done a great job. He had to burn that fast repair, but was able to done a really good job of getting back up there. And I mean, I got to commend him because, again, that car was about 45 degrees off-centered, him trying to track that thing back to pit road. And it's so easy to go just a little too aggressive, and then the car just, like, throws you off, and there's nothing you can do. So great job by Cody to hang on to that thing to make it to pit road in the first place. Yeah. And then be able to then, like I said, fight back and get back to the front here. So let's jump right here with a few drivers we haven't had a chance to talk about too much this evening. One of those is that number 74 here, Robert Jordan, up on the top side there, that black and green canvas sponsored number 74. He is currently up 10 positions in that number 74 machine. One of our highest climbers, along with Vicente Guerrero, who sits also at plus 10, as well. Just behind him, Dan Harrington, kind of doing his normal Dan Harrington kind of quiet night so far, just kind of staying in the main pack, just playing it safe, biding his time before it's really time to make that charge in that Transformers machine. Also sitting at 10 spots gained as well. So I'll say Dan's always one to keep an eye on these things. As I think for Dan, he just needs a little bit of help, a little bit of teammates to work with here to get himself a better chance at some of these final laps of the race. They have a chance to get these wins because he is definitely one that is able to kind of do it all, building up to that final stint until the end.
Mm-hmm. It's one guy, probably one important guy that we haven't really talked about. Is that 18 is Zach Workman. He's been, since this drop of the green flag, he's been holding steady right where he's been at. Just being patient, buying his time.
Yeah, I think right now I'm thinking it's fuel saving going on for that 18, and also probably a little bit of risk management, because right now they're about to come up onto the 07 Robert DuPont. And again, this is where things get very tight. Robert's going to do his best here. He's going to try to keep that thing as tight to the wall as he can. But say at the same time, he's got to make sure he doesn't get too high. Something I've definitely done, and exactly that, just scraped the wall, but looks like he's going to get away with it there as everybody else is able to swing by. So now the hope is if he can steal a little bit of draft. Honestly, I would try to sneak down a little bit, pick up a bit of a tow. I'm a little worried, though, he's not going to have the pace there to hold on to the back of that 08 car. So I think he's going to lose the draft once more here. So not what he's looking for tonight. He needs to get that lucky dog, which right now, though, is going to fall into the hands of Robert Rock as he's in this main pack there. Sitting in that third spot again. He's the first car one down now, and he'll easily be able to hold on to that spot as that 07 has pretty much about to lose the draft once more, unfortunately. So, right now for Robert, he needs a break. He needs a caution. He's had a great season, and so unfortunately, it's always so frustrating. You have a great season, then it comes playoff time, and just everything starts to come unraveled because it's just so hard to claw back after that.
No doubt. And all the points that you built up during the regular season, it's just gone away, and now it's like, oh man, all that hard work I just put into it, and now I have one bad race, and I'm back here. It's like, it just ain't fair. But I see it that way. I know where he's coming from. It's a bad deal, but we all have had bad races. I've had bad races, and hopefully then he can bounce back here and make up some spots.
And that's exactly it too. We're not even halfway, so there's a lot that can still happen in this thing. So we didn't mention, you see Bud Steele, he's got to the point there with help from Cody Nagels to get to the lead, and now Cody's going to lead that second lane with Gary Jenkins right behind him. So we're getting close to that window here, Matt. Probably another 5-6 laps until the window officially opens for those that have maybe had to be a little more aggressive for when they first for who've been leading, I should say, at the beginning of the race. But yeah, and then at some point, I think then we'll see again. I think there's going to be a few drivers that can maybe go a lap or two longer and then duck in, who've kind of been saving. So the question mark is going to be, who do we see blink first? We know at this point it's a two-stopper for everybody until the end. It just depends on when you want to make that first green flag schedule stop, and of course having your friends around you. So I'm looking right now. You see the couple of limitless guys. They're kind of one high, one low. They're up front, but Cody's got to find a way to get down to have a chance to get himself ready for a pit stop, which I can see Vicente trying to open up a door for him. Zach Workman, we mentioned, he's kind of a little further back there, just kind of playing it safe here so far. But what I do see, though, are a lot of boot knockers together, and on the bottom side, I see the 1, I see the 5, I see the 25, I see the 071, so they're in a really good spot to have 4 of them could come in together when they're ready to and choose to come in. So watch for those guys to make a pit decision there, and probably bring a lot of guys with them if they can who are right behind them, because let's say when they make a move, a lot of people are usually watching and really are ready to react to it. Jump a little further back. I haven't talked too much yet about Paul Turner, so he's still doing a good job. Qualified 18th, currently running in the 14th position. The car looks nice and clean, though, in that number 4 machine in the lead lap with the main pack still. Same goes for the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald, also still in this lead pack as well. So again, we still got 16 drivers on the lead lap in this main pack, and then we got the 2 drivers a lap or more down with Robert Rock and Robert DuPont, as well as Jay Hilliard as well. And unfortunately, we do have, it looks like, a few early retirements. It looks like David Overstreet actually did not grid this evening. Nick Manfredi has retired, and I believe Tom Dixon is pretty much effectively retired. That car's still sitting on pit road, but he's been sitting there for a number of laps here. So I think, unfortunately, his night might be over as well, which is unfortunate. He had a great early run going here. But look at Cody, just was so tantalizing close there to try to clear that 6 machine. Couldn't do it, though. He's going to have to drop back a little bit, but I'm seeing a little opening starting to form right in front of the 14 machine of Vicente Guerrero. Does Vicente try to open up a door for the 06? And it looks like the answer is going to be no. Cody's actually going to try to see if he can lead this pack here, as he does lead that lap at the line. So watch for that 90 and the 06, I should say, work together, try to push in front of that 6. Although, once again, look at that big gap right there. I think this is Cody's opportunity. He's going to try to jump in there. It'll be tight, but I think he's going to make it happen. And yep, there he goes. Cody jumps to the inside there in front of his teammate Vicente. And that looked like a plan worked perfectly together there.
Yeah, a lot of people sitting there trying to get down, and they only got about 3 to 4 laps. These guys drivers are about to come in.
Yeah, and I also saw the 90 there of Gary Jenkins able to sneak in front of his teammate Gabe Butler. So we got the boot knocker starting to get lined up. So yeah, pretty much everybody's starting to drop to the bottom. I see Robert Jordan trying to find somewhere to go now in that 74. Has no help yet. I think we're about to see some drivers make the charge, though, towards the front. I think, watch for Dean Wilkinson. I think Dean has done his saving early, and I think now he's going to try to be aggressive and get to the front there. And I'm watching the 18 of Zach Workman, and he's going to kind of get pinned here behind the 74 car. I think he was trying to charge forward there. And yeah, he's going to kind of, looks like he's going to actually go 3 wide here as they enter turn number 3. He'll clear the 74 there. So I think Zach's trying to work his way forward here before these pit stops. But be ready. I think we're going to see maybe some short pit strategy coming soon. And yep, here they come.
Yep, here they come. I think it's all pretty much the boot knockers here. 4 of them.
Yeah, we got 4 of the boot knockers, 2 of which are in the playoffs there, the 1 and the 5. Do notice that Gabe's got a pretty good margin on them entering pit road, so we'll see how they come out together. The one that isn't in that group is the 90 of Gary Jenkins. But that's their strategy. They want to come in early, try to see if maybe they can break apart from the pack. You see the 18 is Zach Workman. He's up top on his own. He was trying to gain some track position, but I think the momentum just wasn't there for him. No drafting help either. Yeah. So now, do we see the quick response, or do we see anybody else maybe try to go even an extra lap? I think we're going to see a pretty busy pit road here as the field comes out of 4.
Response here, maybe. Yes, everybody's coming in.
So everybody's got to start to make themselves space.
No speeding penalties. Nice job, everyone. Nice job.
Yeah, so far so good. Now they got to make their pit stalls without stepping on each other's toes. That's the next thing. It's easier said than done sometimes. But so far it looks like everybody's able to get there. I think I saw the 171 overshoot his pit stall just a tiny bit there. He's gonna have to back it up a little bit. And so yeah, a few little miscues here. But again, we're going to watch to see, because it looks like the other group of 4 are still trying to get themselves bundled together here. Watching Gabe and Kevin, JD, and Eric. So it's going to be a good race off of pit road. It looks like actually it's going to be the 59 here of Jay Hilliard. He's going to win the race off pit road. However, he is a couple laps down there, but say importantly for him though, right now he is actually kind of the net leader of this pack. So right now he's actually just 1 down instead of 2 down. So this is a great opportunity for the 59 as they build speed back up out of turn 2.
Now I'm curious to see what the boot knockers are compared to. Yep, here they come.
Yeah, right now you got the 59 leading the way. I think Paul Turner had an issue off the pit road exit. Oh yeah, there he is. He's getting the car spun back around here. Unfortunately for Paul, looks like maybe just a little too aggressive on the pit exit here. We'll try to get a better look at Paul here on the exit. Actually, he's already down in the grass here. Let's back up a little further to try to get a better look at this. And actually, that car just gets loose here. Yeah, and he just has to save it through the grass there. Does a little bit of off-roading. And then, yeah, he's just able to try to grab a gear and get going again. So unfortunately for Paul, that's going to cost him a lot of track position there. Lose the draft, of course. So right now we still have about a little 4-car breakaway. And you can see that 59 trying to hold on to the lead there. Or not the lead, but hold on to be the tail end of 1 down. Because he does not want to fall 2 laps down if he can avoid it.
It could have been a lot worse than it actually was. Oh.
So you can see the field is broken up a little bit after this first pit stop cycle. Matt, it looks like we have about 11 cars safely in this main pack here. JD Crow being the last of those. However, you got Robert Jordan there and Eric Laurie. They're just on the outside edge here, about almost 2 seconds off of JD Crow. So the gap isn't really falling too much, but it's going to be tight from the catch back up. And you go back, you have to go even further, unfortunately, to the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald and Randy Minor. And again, big storyline for Randy is he is a playoff driver, so unfortunately for him, he is out of this main draft, so he's going to need some help here as well. And also Robert DuPont on pit road, a long pit stop for him, wondering if maybe had a pit penalty as he's been sitting on pit road for about 40 seconds. So just a bad night, going even worse, unfortunately, for the 07.
Yeah.
While Cody and Vicente trying to lead that outside line. We got teammates lined up there and the front 2 rows up top.
It's never over till it's over there, Robert. Don't get your head up.
Yeah, it's definitely a disappointment, but like you said, I mean, it's to do what he did to even just to make the playoffs. I mean, again, with some of the talent of the field here, it's impressive to do. And actually, we got to do a commend right there. Robert Jordan, Eric Laurie, they pushed their way back to the pack here. So we're now 13 drivers in this lead pack as well. So great job by them. And I like this call here by Robert Rock. Drops to the back of the lead pack right now. He's the the first car 1 down and has no pressure from Jay Hilliard. So just stay in the back, save fuel, and just stay in the draft. And you don't risk getting involved in the incident as long as, like I said, you can get that car woe down if something's to happen. And I'm starting to see, speaking of something happening, here comes that third lane. Yep, Kevin Freeze, and it looks like JD Crow starting to work that top side.
It looks like Eric Laurie's going to join in too.
Yeah, Eric Laurie's going to join the party there in that 071 John Deere machine. And they're going to start to push and shove their way towards the front here. We know how fast these guys are together. And so we talked about Daytona being tight, but we are 3 wide here as we just crossed the halfway point last time around. As Kevin Freeze making a big charge to the front there with help from his 2 teammates.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting right now. It's really ramped there right now. I know Kevin doesn't want to ride. That's just not Kevin's style. And he wants to lead laps. He wants to stay up toward the front. That's the way Kevin is. So he's going to do anything in his power just to get up toward the front.
And it is, speaking of being tight, it is very tight up front there. And you can see, I think some guys are seeing that and said, like Dean Wilkinson, for example, he didn't like what he saw there. He's actually rolled out of it just a tiny bit there in that 55 machine. Wants to make sure he's in a safe spot. And yeah, he's actually dropped straight to the back. That being said,
and they leave Eric Laurie out to dry.
Yeah, Kevin Freeze was able to clear to the bottom lane. JD Crow could not got to the middle lane, but they do split up the limitless teammates there of Cody and Vicente. So right now, Kevin is now back to the point in that 25 machine, our pole sitter this evening. So yeah, that third lane did work dividends for them to get back to the front. Unfortunately, like I said, Eric Laurie wasn't able to get all the way up front. But that big move by those three drivers, they really kind of shook up the running order, because once again, look at the groups around them. Some of those guys that were up front went ahead and said, you know what, nope, I'm dropping straight to the back, like that 55 we mentioned of Dean Wilkinson. And now look at this, we got a single file train about to form here, and unfortunately JD Crow is the one kind of stuck on the outside line right now.
Yeah, I think people, I really think, Gael, they might do a short pit stop here and make that 1 can of fuel. That's what I think is probably going to happen here.
Yeah, so we got pretty much the inside line train going right now. So while they're in this train formation, Matt, let's go ahead and run through the field so you can see where your favorite drivers are. As right now, Kevin Freeze leads the way, our pole sitter this evening in that 25 Kellogg's machine. Right behind him, one of our first playoff drivers, the 06 of Cody Nagels in that number 06 True Value IROC, yeah, I can't talk today, Supra. I actually see one drop into the apron there. I think that was the 59 of Jay Hilliard. In third position is the 14, his teammate of Vicente Guerrero. Right now sitting in that third position. Bud Steele in the Bellhaven Ford Mustang sits in fourth. And then rounding out our top 5 is that number 5 of JD Crow with the J Concepts Chevrolet Camaro. And behind him, we just mentioned that John Deere Chevrolet Camaro of Eric Laurie there in 6th. Gary Jenkins, teammates to them in the Rust Eves Ford Mustang, is 7th. Then Gabe Butler in the Guinness Machine Camaro is in the 8th position, followed by the Skull Bandit Camaro of David Bone, and Dan Harrington rounding out our top 10 in his Transformers Transmissions, I believe it is, number 82 Chevrolet Camaro. Mm-hmm. And continuing down the order in 11th, the RBN Podcast Toyota Camry of Zach Workman in 11th, Dean Wilkinson there in 12th in the Bad Company Ford Mustang, and then you got the 74 of Robert Jordan there with the Gammas Chevrolet Camaro, and then rounding out our lead, those were our lead lap cars. Oh, I'm sorry, no, these are lead lap cars as well. U.S. Air Force Chevrolet of Bob Fitzgerald and the TW Motorsports Ford Mustang of Randy Miner in the 15th position. Then we dropped our drivers or actually not quite a lap down, but about to be a lap down. Right here, the number 4 of Paul Turner there. And unfortunately for Paul, he was doing really well. He was right up front there with those guys, and just unfortunately that pit stop miscue has really dropped him off there. You see the Colonial Riders on the side of that number 4 Camaro. Then you fall to our lap down drivers, that Bad Company Camaro of Robert Rock, the 59 machine of Jay Hilliard, his TW Motorsports Chevrolet Camaro. And then, unfortunately, on pit road, Robert DuPont still sitting on pit road. I think he may have called it for the evening. Unfortunately, it looks like as well, Matt, just not the night for that number 07 machine this evening. And on the plus side, running through the field, it's a loud Chris Matthews. He's found a new person to like, and that is, I believe, the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the bonus of running through the field. You get to see some more drivers. You get to see some sponsorships on the side of those cars. And now we're going to see a lucky dog battle start to brew here, Matt, because here comes Paul Turner. He's going to get swallowed up by the field. But we got to watch for Robert Rock right there in the 171, because if the 4 can try to find a way to stay in front of that 171, that would put Paul in that lucky dog position. So we'll see if he can find a hole to slot into here.
If he stays right real close with those cars, it can eventually catch the draft and not have to worry about it.
You know, definitely help if the 5 of JD Crow jumps to the outside like he has, because right now I'm looking at the pace of the race here, Matt, and it has slowed dramatically. Last time by Kevin Freeze, a 48.06. We've had some laps in the low 46 second bracket, so we're about 2 seconds a lap slower than what we've had before. So there's something, either fuel strategy or something's going on here, and this pace has really dropped drastically. These guys, like I said, I think they're kind of in cruise control until their next set of pit stops, which should be their final set of pit stops. And like you said as well, Matt, will it be some strategy? Do we see drivers pit early? Because that window should open in about 7 to 8 more laps here. I think about, to me, 25 to go. You're safe to make it to the end without any drama. If you want to risk without green white checkers. If you want to account for green white checkers, I think about 22, 23 to go is about when I would jump onto pit road. So We'll keep an eye on that. And again, we talked about that Lucky Dog battle right now. Paul Turner's still just ahead of that 171 of Robert Rock, but right now, again, still no help up top there. So he's going to start to get past there and there. Here's going to be a switch for the Lucky Dog. Right there is the 171. It's going to peak low, entering 3. But with the pace drop, though, Paul's holding his own pretty well up top right now.
Well, I'm hearing a lot of race chatter. It's a little bit of guys having a little bit of fun with each other out there. So with the pace going this slow, Kyle, I really think that these drivers are going for that one can of fuel strategy. Possibly putting on, if I had to guess, probably about 57 or 8.
And the one can of fuel is a big thing to talk about, Matt, because basically for those that don't race frequently, these cars, to fill the cars up full of fuel, you need 2 cans of fuel to put in them to be able to fill them up to the top. This league, they do run a slightly reduced fuel load, so they don't fill it up to the 22, I want to say, rough gallons of what the 2 cans of fuel are, something around that range. Actually, maybe 18 gallons, I think it might be. And so what happens there is, in the switch between the first can of fuel and the second can of fuel, it's going to cost you 2 to 3 seconds most likely to make that swap. Whereas if you can say, I just want the 1 can of fuel, which I think again is probably about the 8.5 gallon to maybe about 9 gallon range. I think there's a little more. These guys know way better than I do. But in that range that you can do, you're going to save about 2 to 3 seconds to be able to take that shorter pit stop. And 2 to 3 seconds could be the make or break of having the draft or losing the draft. So that's why that potential is so important for these guys to decide what they want to do here, if they need to save fuel to make that 1 can strategy work out or not. So it's definitely a strategy call, and it really could come into play here because right now, like I said, pretty much the field here all running single file, but it looks like that 90 Gary Jenkins. I say JD Crew finally got somebody who said, you know what, I don't want to sit either, so let's hop on board with that number 5 of JD Crow, as he's going to push that Rusty's Mustang towards the front here, getting alongside second place Cody Nagels, soon to set his sights on that 25 of Kevin Freeze. So far, with just the 2 of them, they've just about got there. Last time by, that 90 was about a half a second quicker. I think that's what Cody saw. I said, you know what, I got to pick up the pace. I'm going to start to push that 25 a little harder here, and that's starting to pick up the pace. And sure enough, last time by, remember we're talking about them running 47 or 48 second laps, Matt. This last time by was a 47:13. So I think they saw what was happening. Said, yeah, we got to step up the pace here a little bit. So. And then, of course, for Cody, he doesn't want to let these two drivers with boot knocker get in front of his team, or the teammate of Kevin Freeze. So it's in his best interest to stay aggressive and stay pushing this 25 to keep them lined up on that outside line. That way they can't all drop into pit road together. Because, like I said, we're getting to that magic window here, Matt. Next time by is going to be 26 to go. And we know that's around the rough number. These guys can make it safely on fuel. Like I said, though, I think they'll give at least a lap of margin, so I would think probably about 25, 24 to go. So realistically, I think this time by pit road window for fuel could be open here.
Look at this. I'm looking at the track between Robert Rock and Paul Turner. At one point, they were drafting each other. The 4 is trying to keep up with the 171. In case that caution would have come out, one of them will get the free pass. He's just trying to stay with that 171 in case that caution does come out. But right now, the pace that they're running, it's probably not going to happen.
So yeah, right now it's that race within a race. So we'll see if we have any takers on pit road, and the answer is no. So I think right now these guys might be accounting for that green-white checkered here. And the other thing we got to mention too, Matt, is for some of these guys that are mid-pack here, that have just been kind of playing it cool and taking it easy so far in this run. I kind of look at Eric Laurie, Gabe Butler. I feel like they've just been kind of cruise control since that pit stop. These are drivers that we talked about. These guys could then save a lot more fuel now, put a lot less fuel in later. So there is also a benefit of waiting longer to hit pit road, because the longer you save right now, the less you need to put in to make that fuel number to the end. So It is still also in some of these guys' best interest to maybe wait a little longer if they can get away with it. So we'll see. Like I said, we'll see who blinks first, and then we'll see, of course, if there's a quick reaction to it. But it looks like here we go. We got a couple coming in. It was a late decision for a few. And here they go. Kevin Freeze. Oh, Vicente Guerrero, man, he just inches from the cone. Now you got to make sure everybody got on pit road cleanly. So this is coming to 24 to go. You've got some of the limitless guys. You got some of the boot knockers here. So these are some of the big hitters here hitting pit road now. And we'll jump back up front because now it is Gary Jenkins, JD Crow leading this second pack. Like I said, do we see the reaction right away or not? So we'll keep an eye on them. I'm watching pit lane. And I'm seeing a very lengthy stop for Vicente Guerrero, Matt. I think he got busted either unsafe entry or speeding on entry for that 14 car.
Yeah, I'm quite curious.
He was awful close to the cone. Looks like everybody else here definitely playing a little safer on this group of drivers hitting pit road. JD Crow, Gary Jenkins, David Bone, Dan Harrington. We have a few more continuing to stay out here with Bud Steele, Dean Wilkinson, Robert Jordan. And that also will include those 2 lap cars. We mentioned the 171 of Robert Rock, the 4 of Paul Turner. So we'll keep an eye on them. For those that just pitted, looks like coming out of pit road, looks like Gabe Butler right now is a nose ahead here of the 18 of Zach Workman. And right now Zach's in a tough spot because he doesn't have all the friends he would like to have. And now he's able to slide into line here. So we'll keep an eye on these guys. Let's jump back though to Bud Steele to see if they come on the pit road this time by, or if they're going to, yep, and here they come. They're going to all hit pit road now. And oh, you see the 4-0 overshot pit road. He knew he wasn't going to make it, jumped back out there. That was great heads up call though by that 4 of Paul Turner. Unfortunate, but a good call not to make a bad situation worse. So this will complete our scheduled pit stops for our lead pack drivers. As you see there, here's the top 4 breakaway. Looking to see where those guys that pitted the last time by. And here they are. You got David Bone right there. You got JD Crow, Gary Jenkins, Dan Harrington. They are losing touch with these guys. It's 2 seconds and growing right now. So this is right now a 5-car breakaway from these 4 drivers behind them. And then we got to watch for these drivers leaving pit road. Dean Wilkinson and company. Looks like Dean's the first one off of pit road here, Matt. And it's a very treacherous pit road here. We'll watch off the back of Dean because here they come. Can he grab enough speed here? I don't think he's going to have the momentum to grab onto them. He will not. He's going to have to cycle in with Gary and JD and company. So right now we've got pretty much a 5-car breakaway up front. We got 3 boot knockers and 2 limitless drivers here with 22 to go. Coming around to be 21 to go as things run, of course. I say still, of course, that potential for a late yellow to shake everything up. And the one driver that really needs that right now is that number 14 of Vicente Guerrero, because right now he is, looks like he is 1 lap down and is at, no, he's not at risk going 2 down. I think he's actually, I'm sorry, he's just the tail end of the lead. Oh, no, yeah, he's 1 down, actually at risk going 2 down, it looks like, Matt. I'm trying to see where he is on track in relation to those leaders. Sorry, my timing scoring's off. Right now he is 1 down, but he's not lapped down to them. He's a lap down to these 2 drivers right here, Randy Minor, Bob Fitzgerald. They're running along here. They opted not to pit. Yeah, they last pitted at 35 here, Matt. So they're just running along as long as they can, it looks like, just to see if something will click for them. But right now the lap times definitely are not in their favor, so they will need a yellow to get back into the mix. However, here comes Gabe Butler. He's working on trying to put Bud Steele a lap down as well as Vicente. So unfortunately for these guys, that pit stop cycle did not go well for them. Bud Steele also had a pit penalty in that 6 machine as they go by him to put him a lap down as well.
According to my timing and scoring, he's already 1 lap down. He's about to go 2 down.
No, and I did the same thing. So these guys are both getting put 1 down now because they got put a lap down by Randy Minor and Bob Fitzgerald is what's happening. Once Randy and Bob pit, then everything will cycle accurately. But right now those guys have they're running this one longer to see if they can try a different strategy. But right now, like I said, the pace that they have by themselves just doesn't look like that strategy's working thus far. Oh, good save.
Fitzgerald nearly lost it right in front of Vicente there.
Yeah, I see.
What a save.
Oh, Randy Meyer too hot on the pit road. Just kissed the wall there, but I think that's probably a speeding penalty. That looked very, very quick on entry for Randy.
It was.
So unfortunately, that's going to be a stop and hold for Randy, just to make matters worse for the time he lost staying out as long as he did. But yeah, great save up by Bob Fitzgerald. However, unfortunately, in the process of making that save, loses the main pack as well, just to make matters worse for him. But you can see the 14 of Vicente Rios getting some help to get back up there with Bud Steele. And right now, this is the lucky dog battle between these two drivers right here. So watch for these two to try to kind of jockey for position. Then also looking back, we got to watch for this group behind them. Gary Jenkins leading that pack with JD Crow behind. They want to catch Gabe. Right now, last time by, Gabe actually made his fastest lap of the race, 46.27. This time by, it's 46.90. And waiting to see Gary and them come through the line now, and they have it looks like 46.88. So they're sitting just about even on speed right now. But right now they are starting to slowly lose time to those front runners. It's about a 4-second gap between the leaders to 6th place. So right now, like I said, 5-car breakaway up front here.
Yeah, and 2 lap down cars. I didn't realize Bud Steele won a lap down.
Yeah, he also had a pit penalty, unfortunately, as well, like I said, with Vicente. Not sure what Bud's was, either speeding or maybe unsafe entry. But what this does, though, is now it could allow, if we stay green, Matt, this could allow for the lap cars to play a bit of a role here in the finish. So, again, we talked about the 3 boot knockers in this main pack being in the top 5. 2 of the limitless drivers there, the 18 and the 06. But Vicente now, it's probably in his best interest. Again, these guys talk about a win for the team is kind of a win for all of them. So, I mean, watch for Vicente at some point in this run, depending on how things shake out. Watch for the 14 to start to make some moves and try to work with the 18 and the 06 to help his teammates maybe try to get a win as well. So, it's all to play for these guys. And again, lap time wise, right now the front pack and the second pack very, very close on speed with one another. The 08 has hit pit road. He's rolling out of pit road now, but unfortunately, like I said, is going to be off on his own and will most likely lose a lap as well. So we'll see how it all shakes out, because it's going to be tight on the points and, of course, on track position as well, because we're going to have to add the 08 to Bob Fitzgerald into this mix of potential lucky dog drivers here in probably just another couple of laps.
Yeah, Bud is desperately trying to get a grab Vicente there, but he's just got no help.
Yeah, these guys are completely committed to the inside line right now. So yeah, so for Bud, he'll peek out and he'll try to see if he can get some momentum to sneak around the 14 every so often. But yeah, right now he needs somebody to go with him, and I mean he might get some help with the 101.
Randy Minor. Yeah, Randy Minor there. He's only 1 lap down. Is that, am I correct, Guyo? Or
I think Randy is 2 down, if I'm not mistaken. And again, here's Buddy. He gets a great run here to the outside. He's also going to steal a little bit of draft off of that 08 there, but I think he's going to want to tuck back in here just to kind of play it a little bit safer. And it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to drop down behind. Because now if that 08, he can hold the draft here, that'll be 3 drivers going for that lucky dog position here. Looks like right now Bob's playing nice and just letting this whole group go by and then tag on behind him. But again, looking at lap times though, these guys up front are still doing a perfect job right now. Gabe and Kevin running 46.80s compared to 47.26 for Gary and JD in that second pack. So these guys are doing what they need to do. Like I said, so basically on the playoff side of things, we've got 3 playoff drivers in the first pack. We've got, it looks like, 2 playoff drivers in the second pack. And then unfortunately, we mentioned for Vicente, Randy, and Robert, just not the nice they're looking for as they sit a lap or more down thus far.
This is really going to get interesting once Bob Fitzgerald catches back up.
I think what we're going to see right now, though, and the other thing too, Matt, is they're going to eventually here also catch the 74 of Robert Jordan, who's also right now in 11th place, tail end of the lead lap. So Robert will also fall into this lucky dog potential window as well. But what I think what this front pack is going to do is they're going to play nice again for probably another 10 laps or so. At some point, we're going to see the 18 make a move. We know the 06 is going to probably go with him, and then we'll probably see the 14 go with him as well. And so I think we're going to see is it's going to be pretty much a limitless versus boot knocker showdown. I foresee happening here in the front 3 rows here. So that's kind of my prediction. So it's going to be, if things are lined up like they are, it could be a race between Gabe Butler and Cody Nagels. Is kind of how I foreshadow this, or sorry, Zach Workman versus Gabe Butler is kind of how I foresee this race occurring at the end, if we stay green to the end.
Now we're going to have a race within a race right now.
And then we got the race within a race because you got Vicente right there, Bud Steele, and yeah, you're right though. Look at that 101 there. You mentioned Randy Minor. Looks like he said, you know what? I'll help you, Bud. Let's try to do something here because it's also in Randy's best interest. Because again, he's 2 laps down, so if he can get himself in front of those leaders, that could actually then put him from 2 down to 1 down, which again opens up so many opportunities. So let's say this is where you have to be careful. You of course want to fight. You want to get back, be the first car 1 down. But at the same time, you don't want to be the yellow, so they got to be careful how aggressive they're willing to be to try to get that position back. As you can see them starting to quickly close on that 74 of Robert Jordan here. So I'd say, again, they'll probably need to try to get back single file if they can, just for basically once they get by the 74, and then go ahead and jump back after the that second lane. So we'll watch here, and it looks like, yeah, I think Bud's about to tuck back in here.
Pretty good prediction here.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm still watching lap times. Haven't ignored Gary and JD, but the lap times just aren't going their way. It's about a 47.29 compared to 46.76, so they were about a half a second slower last time around. This time by about 0.3 to 0.4 of a second slower. So we talked about being about a 4-second gap. Now it's almost 6 seconds between those front 2 rows. So right now, like I said, for JD, David, Dan, Gary, and Dean, they need a yellow one, unfortunately. It's never something that you want to have happen to have a chance at these races, but unfortunately that's the reality of what it is right now. That combo right now up front here with the 1, the 25, the 18, the 06, and the 071 company is just too strong right now. But here goes Bud though, Matt.
Here we go.
Right now, a nose ahead. He's got help from that 101. And again, too, I mean, for Vicente, even if it's not a lucky dog battle, I mean, it's a bonus, or that's a point that could be taken away from him. So, again, you want every point you can. And so right now, this is a battle for 11th and 12th, and, of course, very importantly, for the lucky dog. So we'll see here. And at some point, I think they're going to see that shift. And, yeah, there they go. They saw the move to the top, and that's a great decision there by the 18 and the 06. They got to get to the top here, because they don't want to get pinned behind Bud Steele, because if he gets up there, then they don't have a lane to take. So this is a little earlier than I anticipated, but I think their hands were forced due to that move by Bud Steele and Randy Minor. So here we go, 2x2 for the lead here, 10 to go.
Yeah, it's a pretty smart decision, like you said. It'll be really rough trying to get around Bud Steele, and and it's really hard to contend with a lap car, but you got to race your way to get a lap back. But I see that point too. Now it's going to be pretty much Limitless versus Team Bootknocker now.
Yeah, the only one missing in this mix is, I say, the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. He's kind of pinned on the inside. He can't get up to the outside in behind the 06 of Cody Nagels. But again, he doesn't want to stay behind the 6 of Bud Steele, because Bud Steele is his champion, or his lucky dog competitor. So right now he's kind of forced to run the inside line. He has no choice here, because he wants to be able to have a chance to be in front of that number 6 machine. So ideally, Vicente would love to be right now behind his teammate of Cody Nagels, pushing that second lane, but he can't do it right now, because again, that's where Bud is, and that's his lucky dog battle right now. So it's one of those. I mean, that's the thing. That's play racing. Is he can't just move the 6 out of the way and say, hey, I want to push my teammates, because Bud's already kind of committed to that spot, and he's doing a good job staying right up there with him. So that's part of racing. I mean, we've all been there. I think we're in a play race, and you're like, oh man, if I could only get to XYZ lane, if I could get to the top or the middle, I could do something. But sometimes you've got what you got, and you just gotta hope for a break. So. Right now, these guys up front, 2x2, like I said, will drop back another 6 seconds to get to that second pack. And these guys look like they're just going to play nice right now, Matt. They're going to stay single file, just try to work together, see if they can do anything with that gap up front. Their lap times have been improving. They're dropped into the 46-second bracket, but just unfortunately still is not enough to catch these guys. Like I said, they're going to need some mistakes or something to happen in order to have a chance at it. So, like I said, right now it looks like it's going to be possibly a drag race between this 1 and the 18 in these final 7 laps.
Hey, everybody's playing nice right now, not really pushing and shoving. I'm just waiting till it's absolute go time. I think one of those guys will ignore the temperature gauges and just push like heck.
In that, you're exactly right, man. That's exactly what it's going to be. And I've talked to some drivers. I've learned a lot over the seasons with them, and being able to race a few times here and there with them. And that's exactly what you just said. Is they wait until they know it's time, because they want to make sure they have temperature left to give on that final lap. Because if you push hard with 2 to go, you won't have any temperature to work with on the white flag lap. So you'll see probably a little margin. You see right there the 25 and the 1, the little separation, the 18 and the 06, a little separation. But once we get to that white flag lap, you will see those guys hooked onto each other as much as they humanly can. So right now they're still kind of locked, just a little separation, but give it another 4 or 5 laps and you will see that separation go to nothing, and they'll be pushing for all they are worth coming to the checkered. And I think also, Matt, we talked about the 06 and the 6 and the 14, the Lucky Dog battle. I do wonder if and when we get to the white flag lap, then does Vicente say, all right, I'm going to jump up top behind the 6 of Bud Steele to give a 4th car to the outside line instead of being the 4th car on the inside line? Because, of course, once a white flag flies, there will be no caution. They would race it out to the end. So I do wonder if we see the 14 maybe at some point jump to the top to try to help his lane with his teammates up there. Because at that point he knows he wouldn't be getting a wave round with no yellow, obviously, after the 1 to go comes out. So we'll see. I'll say we still got 5 to go, coming to 4 to go here at the line. But right now, like I said, it looks like it's going to be pretty much a drag race between this 18 and the 1. And every so often, it's thousandths of a second of a difference. So it's really just who's going to be able to make the right push at the right time and keep those temps in check here as we got 4 to go.
Man, oh man. As I'm just, I think I was guilty of the commentator's curse the first couple of laps. I raised my hands up in the air, but I do want to say one thing. I hope I don't jinx it though, but that 18 car, I think he's got back-to-back second place finishes. He wants to put a W in the win column. He's done with second place. He wants to get a win so bad.
No, you're exactly right. As they contact the front there, the 06 around. This will bring out the yellow, and it does. Cody Nagels around. However, he's able to gather. Oh, no, he's not able to gather. He goes around, so we will have a caution. There's the field sneaking by him. So caution is out. And Matt, this is going to get into green-white checker territory here. So now who has the fuel to get to the end? This could get very dicey, but let's go first back and see what happened to bring out this caution. We'll try to take a closer look. We saw the 06 involved in it, but where did the contact occur to start this off? So we'll watch the 06 of Cody Nagels, because everything looked okay, and then just something went wrong here.
Looks like contact from the 071. He came up just a minute. He just got in his left rear, and it was on from there. It's pretty unfortunate for Cody there.
Yeah, I think that might be a little bit too far. Let's go back a little further, or go back forward a little more. I mean, I'm sorry.
There's no fast
available. There it is. Let's go back one more time. All right, so here's the contact we were talking about here, Matt. So we're watching the 071, we're watching the 06, and again, they're starting to get a little tired. Yeah, you're right, though, Eric Lohr. You can see compared to the 25, he was about a half a groove up there, and then unfortunately, you see the 06 up into the wall, and great avoidance, though, by a handful of these guys to sneak by there. You see a little contact between this 08 and the 74, and it's going to be tight between Bud Steele and Vicente Guerrero. It looked like Bud was ahead of Vicente. Just depends on the timing of the caution, of course, or if there's any involvement for Bud Steele. So we'll go back live here because, like you said, now the question mark is going to be fuel and fast repairs. And if you're right, if that 06 is out of fast repairs, this might be trouble for Cody. Oh, I think Cody already used it. He just rolled back out on track now, and it looks like no takers, or actually pit road may have not been open. I'm not sure. No, actually, yeah, David Bones in. So I think these guys do not want to lose that track position. So, well, Matt, playoff race number 1. Here we go. Green-white checkered window is open. and looking for the lucky dog driver, and he's already long gone. It is Bud Steele, was able to get ahead of that 14 of Vicente Guerrero. His aggression pays off. Heartbreaker for Vicente because he's going to stay trapped a lap down with the 74 of Robert Jordan, the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald, and the 171 of Robert Rock. So Bud did what he had to do there, and unfortunately, like I said, Vicente was the one that got the raw end of that deal because, again, he wanted that because he had a chance to get back up front. So Matt, we'll go over the lucky dog situations one more time here, or sorry, the green-white checkered situations one more time here. The way it works is, again, they didn't get to white flag lap, so caution comes out, and we have now up to 3 attempts of a green-white checkered finish. What that means is we'll restart this race with 2 to go. If they can get to the start-finish line, they will get the white flag. At that point, the race will be official. However, if there's an incident that brings out a yellow before that white flag is thrown, they would have, like I said, 3 attempts to make it happen. On the 3rd and final attempt, if a caution comes out, the field will be frozen at the time of the yellow, and that will be our race results for the evening. So you see up front these guys on the apron saving fuel. But this is the break that a lot of drivers are looking for. Gary Jenkins, J.D. Crow, Dan Harrington, Dean Wilkinson, and brings them right back into the mix. It's a heartbreaker for Cody Nagels, obviously, but he is still in the race, got the faster pair, and he's back out on track. And then, like I said, Matt, Bud Steele back on the lead lap and able to go after this one as well. So we have 11 drivers on the lead lap. And now it's all about the fuel mileage here, Matt, because right now the lights are off of the pace car. These guys are going to double up. And here's the trouble for Zach Workman. He is surrounded by boot knockers. You got the 25 behind the 1. You've got the 071s right there, the 5s right there, the 90s right there. He's the only driver that's not a boot knocker right now in that top 6 here. So he's going to be in a tough spot here. But at the same time, though, I mean, he's going to find help somewhere. But it's going to be tough sledding for him to try to get. He won't have, obviously, the big help he had with Cody Nagels. So this is going to be fun to see what's going to happen here on this potentially final restart.
Don't forget, he's been quietly, very quiet this race. That 55 of Dean Wilkinson. You might want to keep your eye on him. He might force that 3 lane. You may see Mr. Guerrero might go with him.
Yeah, this will be that risk versus reward strategy. Where do you go and who do you work with? So, and you're right, though. I would suspect at some point we'll see someone make that 3rd lane happen. But the other question, of course, is going to be: does everybody have the fuel to make it on 1 attempt? Much less if we get to that 2nd and 3rd attempt. So, do you need to mention we saw at least 1 driver hit pit road there that was on the lead lap already? That was David Bone. So we know he's safely good to go on fuel to the end, even if we get extra green-white checkers. Obviously, Cody and Bud Steele, same boats for them. They should be good to go on fuel as well, as they also hit pit road. But, Matt, let's get back to it here. Pace car is about to tuck off, and we are going to get this thing green-white checkered attempt number 1, playoff race number 1, as we hit the Geico restart zone. And it looks like they're going to wait for that green flag to fly, and now they are down and away. A great start for that 1 machine, but a little separation between he and the 25 as they get through the gears.
I am so curious to see what the 071 and the 5 do with the 18 here.
I saw Eric peeking to the outside lane. Now I see JD peeking to the outside. So, but look at this great run for the 18 coming down the backstretch. So this is still not all done and said and done for Zach Workman. And there goes JD Crow. He's got to the outside. He's got Dean Wilkinson as his pusher. As we are 3 wide once again here, coming through 3 and 4, trying to get to that white flag again. They got to get to the checkered before this race is official. We got trouble in the back. They're still holding on to it for now.
We get a caution before the white flag.
It looks like we stay green. And all the 33s around. He's going to... big hit for that 33 there of David Bone. He is around. We got numerous drivers off track here. But we stay green, so you're right. It's pretty much now... It's basically... Again, white flag was out, so now they race it back to the checkered here. And right now you got Gabe Butler, Kevin Freeze with a pretty solid lead there. You see Gary Jenkins getting passed by Zach Workman. But I don't know if Zach's going to have enough momentum here to have a chance to take those 2 after him.
Oh, no, he's definitely not. He does not have a run. It looks like it's going to be all Gabe Butler. unless Kevin decides to make a move here.
I don't think Kevin's going to make any crazy moves here coming to the checkered. So race number 1, green-white checkered attempt number 1. Gabe Butler going to win here at Daytona over Kevin Freeze and Zach Workman. JD Crow, Gary Jenkins going to round out our top 5 with Dean Wilkinson finishing in 6th. But Matt, let's go back here. Let's see what happened as we were coming to the white, because like you said, I mean, I don't know how that wasn't a caution. So we're going to see where the contact occurred prior to getting to the white flag. And I think what we saw there was just everybody was able to keep their car pointed in the right direction. And it looks like Eric Laurie may have drifted down just a tiny bit there. Caught Dan Harrington. You see the 90 there. He makes contact with the 18. A great save by the 18 to even hang on to that thing first off, to even make it to the finish line here. And then Dan Harrington gets a big shot there after kind of the accordion contact that sends him off into the grass there in the 82 machine. And then from there everybody's just trying to react and figure out where to go. You can see everybody trying to get gathered back up. And then we saw David Bone. He made a big hit here, and I think it's going to be right here as Eric Laurie tries to get back up on track. And then contact from the right rear left front there. And that spins the 33 of David Bone around. And then you'll see a secondary contact here, I think, by Bud Steele. And just unfortunately, that catches a few more drivers. And right off the back bumper of Cody Nagels just sneaks on by there as well. So, oh man, there's a lot happened on that final lap there, Matt.
Yeah, there was a lot happening, and there was a lot happening in the back of the field. But that's up to the admins to make that decision. But all in all, that was a crazy race toward the end. I thought we were going to get the caution before that white flag, and it didn't happen. I was actually quite surprised.
Yeah, same here. I say just everybody was able to keep it pointed in the right direction before the caution came out. So with that, let's go, before we pull up our interviews, let's show our final results, as Gabe Butler going to get the win here tonight in that number 1 machine, with Kevin Freeze staying locked onto his bumper towards the end. So great teamwork between those two. Like I said, Zach Workman had all to do, but was able to still bring it home in 3rd with that amazing save at the end. Don't know how he hung onto that number 18 machine. Then you got JD Crow, Gary Jenkins rounding out our top 5. Then you got Dean Wilkinson, Eric Laurie, Cody Nagels, Bud Steele, Dan Harrington rounding out our top 10. Unfortunately, David Bone finishing in 11th. Was able to make it back around to finish, but finishes the last car on the lead lap. Mentioned Vicente Guerrero did not get that lucky dog. Unfortunately, the 6 was in front of him at the time of the previous yellow. He finishes in 12th. Then we got Robert Jordan, Bob Fitzgerald, Robert Rock, Randy Miner, Paul Turner, Jay Hilliard. Early retirements this evening. And then continuing down, unfortunately, a tough night for Robert DuPont, Nick Monfretti, Tom Dixon, and David Overstreet scored in 22nd position. All right, Matt. So with that, let's go find our drivers to have a chat with, because that was a wild one here tonight. So we're going to kick it off with our 3rd place finisher. That is going to be the number 18 of Zach Workman. Again, you can see the contact already was happening here as they were coming to the white flag. So we're going to pull Zach on in over here to get a word with our podium finisher. And Zach, everything was looking good. It looked like it was going to be a kind of a dogfight between you and Gabe there, with you having the 06, with Gabe having the 25 there. And then unfortunately that contact kind of forced you to lose your wingman there. And then you're just kind of in a boot knocker sandwich, but able to somehow hang on to that car coming to the white flag, and then still bring it home for a podium position. So I think probably all things considered, for everything you had to go through there, probably it's still a result you're content with, but guessing tonight might feel like one of those what could have been type races for you tonight.
Oh yeah, for sure. It just it was frustrating at the end, losing my 0x, because I knew I had those 3 points on Gabe, and I knew if I could have just finished 2nd or so that we would have been pretty close, but lost the 0x there. But somehow saved the car. That was the most important part. And I guess Gary there was trying to help JD try to get back up to me, but I kind of gave away the P3 and got under him and just took it. And definitely will take a P3 to open up these playoffs.
I was really surprised that 90 kind of backed off. I was really just looking forward to you to push the 90 up toward the front. He just fell back. Were you trying to communicate with the 90, or just hang on to your third place finish?
I was just kind of I was hoping that I could hang on to his draft. I didn't know how damaged it was. I saw my left front in my windshield, so I was just kind of like, "Ooh, I don't know how damaged this car is. Hopefully, I can hang on to Gary up here." And then he went up high, I guess, to help out JD because he had some damage in that, and that's the team he was running with. So I'm just glad I kind of held on to the draft enough so JD and Gary couldn't get back around me, and I could hang on to P3. But all things considered, P3 is totally fine. You told me earlier this week that I would take a P3 to start the playoffs and take it. So it's a good way to start off these playoffs.
Well, you're coming off 2 second place finishes. And like I said, man, it's third place is nothing to keep your head down. And third place is a really good start to these playoffs. Like you said, congratulations there, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, saying obviously now kind of Daytona being in the rearview mirror looking for it. I think it's Talladega to the end for the final 3 races. Is that something that you feel better about or kind of indifferent of? I mean, what's the take for you? Kind of obviously, while they're both super speedways, they of course race very, very differently. I mean, is that something you feel like is going to be better for you to have that kind of that extra room to work with at Talladega, or what's your thought for those final 3 now?
I'll race either track. I really don't care. As long as it's super speedway, we can get up there in the front. But it's going to be more wild. I know there's definitely a lot less 3-wide action here at Daytona because we don't run regular Daytona a lot in Area 51. We do it 4 times a year. So just guys are kind of like hesitant to go in that 3-wide situation. And I know Talladega, they're more than ready to do it. So it's going to be harder if you're back of the pack to try to get up there than it is here. But yeah, either track I'm pretty good at. I feel pretty confident at, and hopefully we nail our pit stops, get to lap 53 for the fuel mileage, and race to the end.
Well, it was a great job tonight, man. And definitely want to give you the floor here. It's a battered and bruised number 18 machine, but still a great looking paint scheme on the side of that thing. So definitely want to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts for anybody that was helping you out to bring you the podium tonight.
Got to thank Cody and Vicente. Vicente got speeding on the entry there, so it kind of ruined his race, unfortunately. And Cody got in that second to last caution. He kind of rebounded back to 8th, but we probably would have had 2 of the top 4 locked up if he was up there. But they really helped me tonight. As always, limitless team trying to get a championship, so we're going to do everything for each other. Got to thank Racing Bros NASCAR podcast for hopping on board this Area 51 season. SimWrap market for the nice base. If you need a nice paint scheme, hop over there. They got every car you can imagine. Got to thank my parents for always supporting, watching every one of these. And thank you guys up in the booth. You do a great job. Can't wait to watch the broadcast back.
All right, man. Great job tonight, Zach. Like you said, worked hard, able to get that podium. Hoping for a little more, but like I said, you got a couple more to go after it, and we're looking forward to see what you got for him. So go enjoy this one, and we'll talk soon.
See you guys.
All right, that is our our podium finisher, Zach Workman. Let's bring up our runner-up in that number 25 of Kevin Fries. Kevin, the very gentlemanly driver, giving up his playoff spot for the driver we just interviewed, Zach Workman. So I'd say it's one of those things, Kevin's like, oh man, if I didn't have to miss these races, I get the pole, finish second, push one of my teammates to get the win, and then you see that guy that you kind of was able to get into the playoffs due to your generosity, finishing third. I mean, how do you kind of balance, obviously you're one that's not shy of being in the playoffs, so it's a pretty common thing for you, but is that one of those situations like, man, I wish I was still going for the title instead of having to give up my spot just due to other commitments on Sundays?
Yeah, it would have been nice to be able to run it out, but I definitely didn't want to take a spot when somebody could have showed up and competed, because they also earned the spot. They were just short because of random circumstance, and that's why I was so nervous there when Cody got involved in that first one in the tri-oval. I was like, oh my god, I don't think I moved up. I really hope I did it. So I was a little happy to see that it wasn't, and it's just a bummer for him, the circumstances that happened in that wreck that took away a really solid finish for him.
Yeah, it was a wild one tonight. I mean, right off the bat, Matt and I were looking. I had Matt doing some sleuthing, looking at like the incident points and things. It was around like 15 to 18 or so, where pretty much I think there's only 2 drivers left that didn't have any incident points. I mean, kind of the opposite of what we're used to seeing to me at least at a playoff race. Like, okay, everybody's going to kind of take it easy, play it calm, and it just, to me, it seemed like it was actually more aggressive than Daytona than I would have expected. Did it seem the same to you behind the wheel, or did it seem kind of just business as usual tonight?
It was definitely a little more interesting, especially for myself and Gabe. We ended up with 8x by, I think it was lap 15, probably even before then. We were running the high line, and they were rounding out their turns in the middle lane. And the one time Gabe had to stand on the brakes, and I hit him, that gave us both 4x. And then the turn after that, I mean, there was that wreck that could have been a caution, but ended up not being one. But it was definitely an interesting one. A lot of interesting moves, and the timing of the cautions was actually pretty good, that it allowed the racing to keep going on and people weren't worried about fuel mileage. I was quite relieved for that.
Yeah, I know you're the biggest fan of fuel mileage races, but you're right, though. The timing of the yellows, like I said, kind of just forced. I was like, okay, at this point, it's definitely a two-stopper to the end at that caution around lap 8 or 9 or so. So then we get to that late yellow, brings out the green-white checkered. Obviously, you saw a lot of drivers rolling on the apron, saving fuel. How tight were you guys? Because I mean, we were looking at the pit stops. Everybody was in the 8-9 second window. We kind of talked about the one can versus having to put a second can of fuel in, slowing down the pit stops. I mean, obviously that's a little bit of a risk, because you know at that point that it's going to be a little tighter than if you could put the full 11 plus gallons in. How tight were you guys on the green white checkered window? Were you guys good no matter what, if it was all 3, or could you do 1 or 2, or I mean, how stressful was that part on the field number?
We were in trouble anything after 1. Because Gabe and I were talking about that. We timed it so that I was leading the pack, and I had to go, I think I got almost 9 in it, if not 9. And then when we came out of the pits, we were trying to push the pace quite a bit, so that used even more. But anything after that first round, that's why when the cars went spinning there, we were like, please don't bring out the yellow. We were so close. And then luckily we made it away. Unfortunate for the people who got caught up, though.
Yeah, it was definitely. I mean, if it was a Talladega race, that yellow probably would have wound up being thrown. That's just how tight it was, like you said, for being across to get the white flag before the incident occurred, and enough to bring out a yellow there. But yeah, just a great job tonight, man. Like I said, again, just hats off to the respect and how generous you are. Like I said, giving up the spot, knowing you weren't be able to make all the races. It's again something that just somehow we come to expect to see here at Area 51. It's just the respect these guys have with one another. So definitely a big hats off to you for that. It's a really cool gesture to do, man. Again, it's really neat to see. However, before we let you go, I think he wants some attention from you. So definitely want to give you the floor here for any thanks and shouts for your runner-up tonight.
Oh, thanks to Brian. He was popping in and out of mute on our Discord channel. Thanks for all his valuable insight during the race. Even though to watch it, watching the broadcast will definitely give you better than anything Brian has. Huge thanks to the teammates, you guys, for the broadcast, the admins, and the drivers tonight. Unfortunate for the playoff guys. See, there's a bunch that ended up getting caught in wrecks and unfortunate events, but that should make the next playoff races pretty interesting, with people having to make up a lot of points. So that should be good for you guys and all the viewers out there.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see how the points look after tonight, like you said, because there's definitely not a lot of bonus points on the incident-free side of things, but it's gonna be fun to see what you guys have in store for those final 3 races. So definitely hope to see you on track as soon as you're able to do so. Like I said, it's always a pleasure racing with you. Always one to watch out for. So go enjoy this one, Kevin. I'm sure, as I will probably be talking to a very appreciative of teammate here with you in just a second. So we'll talk to you soon, man, and great job again tonight.
All right, thank you guys, and I'll see you on Thursday.
All right, that is our runner-up in that number 25 of Kevin Freese, who was the pusher of this number 1 machine of Gabe Butler, getting the win tonight. And Gabe, I mean, you got the bonus point for leading a lap early, then you go towards the back thinking everything's calm, cool, and collected, and didn't work out that way. You kind of lose the bonus point for incident free right off the bat. And then from there, I mean, it was definitely not an easy sailing race for you, even starting up in the front row. It was a lot to go through tonight. I mean, just take us through the race, because there was a lot happening this evening. It was busy. You guys made some big 3-wide moves to get back to the front, and as of course at Daytona, it's always a little tight to do that. So, I mean, was that kind of thoughts like, hey, we already got the incident points, let's just go back. Let's go back being aggressive, because there's no incident or no bonus points to lose at this point.
Yeah, pretty much that was it in a nutshell. But I mean, the first caution kind of took out the fuel, saving fuel strategy, and once that we didn't get any points in that, we got instant points when we tried to go 3 wide. This first time in a super speedway under green, I had to hit my brakes, but we got caught up into that. I had to really get on the brakes, and Kevin ran into the back of me, and there's nothing he could do. I'm not blaming him, but it after that, it was kind of like go racing from there, and it was just trying to do good pit stops and basically try and get track position. And we ended up getting lucky at the end of the race, because I did not have enough for another green, white, checkered, and we were just hoping that yellow didn't come out, and it didn't. So all in all, I feel like I got really lucky.
So it always takes a little bit of everything, and it's something Matt had mentioned actually. Yeah, it was the incident points actually happened while you guys were going 3 wide. I thought going 3 wide was kind of the sign that you guys had already kind of had the incident points. So I was a little. I must say I was a little surprised to see you go to that third lane. Like I know, like you said, fuel was out of the window at that point, so I was a little surprised to see you go to that third lane at that point. And yeah, unfortunately, the contact that gave you the incident points to lose the incident free situation there. But so I was a little bit off. I assumed that was from the earlier incident that maybe you got just a small piece of that kind of got the bonus points away from that one. So like I said, I mean, and obviously Daytona Talladega, 2 different animals on the track with. There's definitely, I mean, do you feel like there's definitely that risk versus reward of running that third line at Talladega or Daytona more than Talladega, or do you feel comfortable kind of wherever you're at just to be up against that wall?
I don't mind either place. I actually like Daytona's third lane a little bit better because it's more intense and you tend to get a better run sometimes. But it's just up to that middle line to stay in their lane and hold that line, and that's what kind of caught us out, unfortunately. But yeah, either place, I've no issue going 3 wide, and I mean, when you have the likes of a Kevin Freeze behind you, it kind of gives a lot more confidence. But I just feel like at Daytona, track position is so important, and because if you get stuck in a pack at Daytona, it's really difficult to pass. So that's kind of one of the reasons why we took a 3 wide early, try and get track position.
Yeah, that's something we did mention. That track position qualifying will obviously be very critical tonight to like I said, to be in the right place at the right time. And it was like I said, it was a really entertaining race. A lot of stuff happening. Only the 2 yellows, of course, this evening, and the big one, of course, being that second one, because at that point it looked like it was going to kind of be a boot knocker versus Limitless kind of drag race there at the end, and unfortunately that contact kind of shook things up. And then you look around you on the restart. You see you got Kevin right there beside or behind you. You see you've got JD and Gary. Like it's pretty much you've got the 18 kind of surrounded by teammates. I mean, is that one of those things like, okay, I kind of like where I'm at here, as long as, of course, like I said, with the fuel situation, as long as everybody plays nice. I'm guessing you're feeling pretty confident there on that final restart.
Yeah, absolutely. It was myself, Kevin, and Gary on the bottom, and we talked about going early, but we said, well, no, because we weren't in communication with Gary. So we said, we'll just keep it on the green, and we were all able to stay together. And then just an unfortunate incident there on the last second to last lap, I guess, took quite a few of them out. So we had it from there. So like I said, we got lucky because of that yellow that came out for that. I definitely didn't have another green white checker than me. I would have had to pit and get fuel.
Yeah, we were curious how tight it was going to be for you guys, but like I said, you were able to make it. Say the luck was on your right side tonight. Obviously, you made all the right calls to get to the right place at the right time at the end, Gabe. And obviously, the pretty much the best way you can get to start off the season, start the place, I should say. I'm sorry, lose a couple of bonus points. Obviously, say Kevin stealing the pole away. Say those selfish non-playoff drivers, and obviously the unfortunate incident point there as well, kind of knocking those 3 away. But say getting the win, kick off the playoffs. Obviously, a great way to start. Talladega next up for the next 3 to go after the title. Want to give you the floor here. Any thanks and shouts for the win this evening, and that's anything you're looking forward to in those final 3 at the wider and more prevalent third line track coming up here.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be crazy as Talladega, so it is the playoffs, so you're probably going to see a lot more aggression, and hopefully it ain't a fuel mileage race. We know how much Kevin likes that, but shout out to the Boot Knocker boys. Great stuff as usual. And a shout out to Zach Workman's parents. I didn't realize that they watched him race, so that's pretty awesome. Big shout out to them. And of course,
I got the same thing.
Yeah, of course, Area 51 for putting this on. You guys for doing your top of the line broadcast as usual, man. It's a blast going back and watching and hearing all the comments.
Nah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm on board with you there on Gabe. It's always fun having the family being part of it, supporting the kids, and it's really cool to see, and we love to see that. So yeah, it's cool. It kind of becomes like a little family thing as well. So great job tonight, sir. We'll let you go celebrate with those teammates of yours. And yeah, look forward to seeing what you got for them next week. And of course, then you gotta get ready for Thursday night with the Trucks playoffs kick off as well over back here at Daytona. So enjoy this one, and we'll see you back to work on Thursday night, sir.
Gentlemen, I appreciate it.
All right, Matt, that is our race winner in that number 1 of Gabe Butler getting the win this evening. And yeah, I mean, again, just wild one tonight, like right off the bat. I mean, it was exciting. It was a lot happening right to kick things off. And Gabe Butler, again, wasn't an easy race for him. He had to get through some stuff, get back to the front, kind of work that third lane. But was able to do so, got some help behind with Kevin Freeze, always a good person to have behind him, and able to get that win tonight here to kick off the playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a time for those guys to catch back up. I know a few certain drivers had bad races. Like I said, you guys who are playoff drivers, you have bad races, just keep your head up. Anything can happen during the next 3 races. It's not over yet, and we got a long way to go.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I say we've 1 down, 3 to go here on the Sunday series. So, Matt, as always, a pleasure doing these races with you. Hope you all enjoyed it watching on YouTube. Brian, Chris, Dean, always love having you guys here. Kevin, always appreciate you supporting Cody, and of course the Limitless drivers. We'll be back again on Tuesday night. We'll be back with the Indy Series, Dark Horse Area 51 IndyCar Series on Tuesday night. And, of course, then kicking off the playoffs Thursday night with the Area 51 Super Speedway Truck Series there as well. So, until then, hope you had a wonderful evening. And, as always, stay safe, take care, have a good night. I'll see you all on Tuesday.